y'all, this is Ashley. This is my third video that I'm making, and I'm getting a lot better at this. Today I'm going to be talking about what I read in December of last year, since it's now 2020. I'm surprised about that. Lots going on. Thank y'all for watching. Thanks for everybody that subscribed. Thanks for being here. I only read 10 things this month, which is not bad. I don't have any, well, I have one of the books, but I don't have most of them because they're romance, and I read most of the romance I read on my Kindle, and so I'll have to put the pictures. But so the first one I read this year was Forever Your Earl by Eva Lee, the same person that wrote My Fake Rake, which I also read in December. I'll talk about in a minute. First one, Forever Your Earl, about Eleanor and the Duke of Ashford. Eleanor runs a gossip rag for, like, it's kind of like a newspaper or magazine, and she runs it, and she's been talking about the Duke of Ashford, and he gets mad about it. He's got some plots he's trying to keep from her because he doesn't want it in her paper, and it's all cute and fun, happy ever after at the end. That is the beginning of a series, The Wicked Quills of London. I read all three. The second one was Scandal Takes the Stage, about Maggie and the Viscount Marwood. He loves theater. She writes plays. Now, it's historical romance, so in the Regency era, women who were associated with the theater were not looked well upon, and she writes the plays that he goes and watches, and of course they fall in love happily ever after. It's romance. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite of hers, and they have bigger plots in later books. Like, they show up in her other series and in this one too. And then there's Temptations of a Wallflower by her, Eva Lee, and it's about Lady Sarah and Jeremy. Lady Sarah is an author of she's got a pen name, Lady of Dubious Quality. She writes erotic romances. And Jeremy is the third son of someone in the Regency, and so he is not royalty. He's not in the line, and he doesn't have money. He is a bishop for the church. Not a bishop. I don't remember which one he was. But he can't be marrying a author of erotic romances. And yet they do. Happily Ever After. I loved it. The fourth book I read was Act Like It by Lucy Parker. It's the first in her London celebrity series. I haven't read any of the others. I really liked it. It's about Richard and Elaine. They work together. They have to fake date. Perfect trope. And happy ever after at the end. The fifth book I read was The Duchess War by Courtney Milan. Now, I'm not as fond of this one. It's in her Brother Sinister series. And I love the Worth saga so much more. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. This one's good too. Anything Courtney Milan writes is good, but I prefer the Worth saga over the Brother Sinister. Now, the Duchess War was about Minnie and Claremont, and of course Happily Ever After, but I didn't like some of the things that Minnie did, which is not she didn't do anything wrong necessarily, but I didn't agree with her decisions. So it was more of a 3-star for me. Sixth book I read is Blitz by Alexa Martin. That is her third book in a Players series. It's a football romance, Blitz. And it's about Maxwell and Bryn. Bryn runs the bar that's prominent in all her novels called Her, and Maxwell plays in this fictional football team, and of course because it's football romance. And I think this was another one of those 3 stars for me. It was just okay. Of course there was happily ever after, but I didn't really care for Maxwell as a character. Like, he did some things in the beginning, and then there was a plot twist that I didn't like, and then the end. And of course, I mean, I loved her other 2 better than this one. It was still good, just not my favorite. And the last romance I read this month was My Fake Rake. I put this one on my favorites of the year because it's fantastic. Evil E can do no wrong. Lady Grace and Sebastian. It's a makeover trope where she makes him over. I mean, I've already said all that in my other video if you want to go watch my favorites. It's funny. They of course fall in love. They, you know, all the nonsense. She's in science. She's a naturalist. No. She's trying to catch the eye of a naturalist. She studies lizards, amphibians, frogs, and Lady in Science, what's not to love? He is an anthropologist, you know, studies people. Just a lot of fun. Loved it. What's not to love? Then, usually in December, I only read romance just straight through because it's a very stressful month and romance is the least stressful genre I can pick. But I had to mix it up because I wanted to hit 150 books this month. So I added a couple graphic novels that are super fast to get through. And I read graphic novels Giant Days volume 9 through 11. Now this is my absolute favorite. It's about Esther, Susan, and Daisy, best friends in college, dating, finding, you know, out what they want to do. Susan's going to be a doctor. She's in medical school. And Esther is goth, and Daisy's hilarious. She's, I guess the Canadian version of, like, the Girl Scouts brownies. I don't know. I've not. But it's so much fun. They party, they make mistakes, they fix them, trying to find housing, all this stuff. It's perfect. I've read, 11 volumes now of this graphic novel, and I have the novelization version of them, and I've read it too. It's all wonderful. John Allison is the author. He's great with the characters. Then I read On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden, and I think this actually started out as a webcomic, and it's about a girl's year at boarding school and falling in love, and then she ends up graduating, then meeting this crew to go into space and restore old buildings and old places, and there's ships shaped like fish and planet jumping, and it's dramatic, and I loved the artwork in it, but I don't have a physical copy to show you, but it's great. Highly recommend it. And then the last graphic novel I read of the year is Check Please, and it's about a figure skater that tries out for a college hockey team. And his name is Biddy. He's hilarious. There's tweets in it. It's all just fun and sweet and adorable. He was from Georgia, and then he moved up to, I believe, Boston, and not used to the weather, not used to the people, and not knowing what to expect. It's so much fun. I loved it. But that was my reading for the year. Yeah, that was the last month of the year, so that was my reading. If you have any comments about what I read and have any ideas, leave them in the comments. If you liked the books or don't, or what you read in December, you just let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.